Today we're replacing an inverter board and a high efficiency air conditioner. Get this, if the customer didn't have a good warranty, then this cost of this repair would be about $4,500. Today I'm going to show you what failed, I'm going to show you how to replace it, and I'm going to talk about why warranty is so important. You're watching HVAC Tips for Homeowners / Technicians. This is Taddy Digest. I'm Tad. Let's get started. Here's the part that failed. This is an inverter board, and this is a variable speed high efficiency system. This inverter board controls the speed of the compressor and the outdoor fan motor, and when this board fails, then you're not going to have any cooling. Having this type of system can save you money and keep you super comfortable, but when the board fails, then your unit's dead. So we're going to be replacing this today, and I'm going to take off this cover, but the first thing I'm going to do before we replace this board is unplug the disconnect. You want to disconnect the power for more than 15 minutes to make sure that you lose power, because you've got these capacitors that can hold a charge and you don't want to be unsafe. So make sure you disconnect power for at least 15 minutes. Then we're going to take the screws out of the cover panel. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do we know the board's bad? We have an input, but we don't have an output. We also have error codes throwing. So we've got a thermostat inside that's communicating, and the customer could see that it was throwing an error code, and you can just read that code and it said there's a problem with the outdoor section. So when I got here, I went to the outdoor, checked my voltage going into my board, and then checked out, and there's no out. So that's the easiest way. Here's the inverter board. This is what we're going to be replacing. I'll talk about the different components, and then we'll take that board out and I'll show you how I know it's bad, because there's an actual indication visually. A little tip for replacing an inverter board like this or any control board: take a picture before you take the old board out. That way you can refer to that picture and know where each wire went on the new board. So we're going to take these wires off, U, V, and W. This is to drive the compressor. Then we've got our line voltage wires coming in, L1 and L2. This is 230 volt power supply. And then this plug, this is RS485, and this is for the communication with this master communication board. So we only have a few wires. Also these wires, this goes to our reactor. Let's get this old board out of here. All right, that's it now. Let's take and loosen up these screws. We got all the screws out, so now let's remove it. I'm gonna take my flathead and pry that board out. It's got some adhesive. And there's the heat sink. Slide it out. Take a look. Heat sink doesn't look too dirty. Now let's install our new board. It does look like there's some spots that are burnt though. Before we install the new inverter board, I took this piece off of the old inverter board so you can see some damage that I could visually see without this cover actually being off, but it's easier for you to see it. So take a look. We got a burn mark here. We've got some burnt components here on the board. This looks like a dirt dauber nest that was here, but it got knocked off, I guess. Here's our new board. You can see no damage. We got the new board installed. Tightened everything. Made sure we don't have any loose connections. Now let's plug in the disconnect. Let's get the power back to the equipment. And then we're going to talk about the importance of warranty and what homeowners need to know, what you homeowners need to know, and then what technicians need to know in the field. Oh, I love it. We got a display on our master communication board. I'm so happy. Here's the box that the inverter board arrived in. Here's the part number. It was packaged very well. Whenever we order a warranty part, we're billed for that part. Whenever we submit the claim, then we're credited. So we're billed first. So whenever we ordered this part, it said it was $4,100. So I'm guessing plus tax, $4,500. Now, if you're an HVAC contractor, you need to be registering equipment. If you're a homeowner, you need to make sure that when you buy equipment, your HVAC contractor is registering. Usually, if you get a registered piece of equipment, it has 10 years parts or 12 years parts, whatever the warranty is. If you don't register it, it gets about half the time, so 5 years. So if I didn't register my homeowner, my customer's equipment, then they would only get 5 years. And then at 6 years, then they would have to pay $5,000 for a repair, which they'd probably be leaning towards a new piece of equipment. And that would not be good, because I want them to get 15 years out of this equipment. I don't want them to get just 10 years. I want it to be 15. If the parts are going to cost $5,000 for, you know, a board or a compressor, should I be selling high efficiency equipment? I don't know. That's a good question. If you're a technician out there and you are selling high efficiency equipment, something you can do to help the equipment last longer is maybe a line voltage monitor, maybe a buck transformer, because if your voltage is too high, then you can bring it down to an acceptable level for the equipment. A surge protector. That's 3 things that you can do to help the homeowner. If you're a homeowner, my advice to you, just make sure you get with a good contractor who's going to register that equipment. That should be some of your questioning when you're getting estimates. Hey, do you register the warranties? Or register the equipment so that I get a good warranty or I get the full warranty. All right, here's the master communication board. We've got a smiley face. If there was something wrong, we'd have a frowny face and it says standby. Let's go check out the thermostat. Here's our thermostat. We don't have any error codes. Before I had an error code right top left-hand corner of the screen. If I hit the settings button and I go here to where it looks like a pen and pad, it said before outdoor communication error inverter. So we don't have an error code. I'm going to go ahead and reset the log to get rid of these error codes. There we go. Now it's reset. Let's go back. Let's turn the system on. Cooling. Let's turn it up to about 67. Let's make sure it's going to run. It's working. I'm happy. The house is going to be cool. If you notice though, that thermostat said 70. The air has been out since Saturday. So it is Thursday. So it's been 5 days the customer has had no air conditioning and the house is still 70 degrees. Why? Because when they built this house, and this was new construction by the way, we installed this equipment whenever the house was built, when it was roughed in. And it's been 5 years, right? So it's 70 degrees 5 days later. It's been, temperatures have been higher than 80 degrees in the last 5 days. And this house is so well insulated, so tight, that they've been able to maintain a comfortable temperature. So that's what's so awesome about foam insulation. So we got air, equipment's running. Let me show you this little board here. And you can see the pressures, 140 on the low side, 300 on the high side, and then we've got our liquid line temperature, suction line temperature. So it's working. I love it. We got all our status, 22 degrees of superheat, 5 degrees of subcooling. Efficient equipment is more expensive. So make sure that you follow the manufacturer's guidelines if you're a technician out there, and you install some protective devices. That way you can help the equipment to last longer. Make sure you register the warranty. Homeowners, be aware that if you do not register, if you don't have your equipment registered properly, you will not get the full warranty. Make sure you're dealing with the right HVAC company out there. You've been watching HVAC Tips for Technicians / Homeowners. I'm Tad, this is Taddy Digest, and I'll keep you cool if you let me.